Okay, I have to show you this. I was checking Zillow, like I do from time to time, and I saw the Zestimate for one of my listings, and my jaw dropped. Today, we're gonna look at one home, same address, same condition, same everything, but two completely different Zestimates. And the only thing that changed is we entered the property live in the MLS. I'm gonna walk you through this Zestimate roller coaster and what really happened, what it really means, and why relying on the Zestimate might be costing sellers and buyers big. Have you ever looked at the Zestimate and thought, I wonder where they came up with that figure? Tell me in the comments below. The Zestimate switch up. Well, this particular property is a listing that I have in Henderson. It's a single story, really nice home, nicely upgraded, nice floor plan, and even located in a terrific guard-gated community. Before we listed the home, the Zestimate was $611,300. The moment we went live on the MLS, the Zestimate dropped to $581,800, $20,000 drop in one day, and coincidentally, just slightly below our list price of $589,500. So what happened? Zillow's algorithm saw my professional photos, the property's features, my pricing, and adjusted their estimate accordingly. This isn't a rare glitch. In fact, I've seen it time and time again where Zillow's estimate immediately adjusts once I put a property on the market. I do check the Zestimate before I go on a listing appointment because I know many of the sellers I'm meeting with have looked at the Zestimate to get a general idea of what they think their home's worth. This is why I have a love-hate relationship with Zillow. I love Zillow when the Zestimate's low and when I can walk into clients and be like, oh, no, we should list your home much higher than that figure. Then it's fantastic because I look great in the eyes of the clients, but I really don't like Zillow when the Zestimate is much higher than I'm recommending, and I have to overcome that value and talk to clients about what's reasonable, and that's exactly what happened with this listing. Now let's break it down. Before I meet with clients on a listing appointment, I run a comparable market analysis, and that includes things like buyer demand, supply. I talk about recent comparables and market condition and even appraisal expectations with my clients. When I run a market analysis, I look at the recent solds and I discuss that with my clients, but more importantly, we really look at the current inventory and what's sitting on the market. The available inventory is going to tell us much more about what's currently happening in the market. If there's a lot of homes sitting on the market and we're seeing days on the market increase and properties reduce, then we have a lot of supply and inventory. That's when I'm going to recommend to my clients to likely list lower than some of the others that are sitting for some time. We are currently seeing that in our market. Homes are sitting a little bit longer and properties are reducing prices. In fact, for this listing, there were several properties that were sitting on the market available within the community, and there was even a model match, same exact home that was under contract for $550,000. That property had started at $600,000 and had reduced their price consistently until they got to $550,000 and then finally were in escrow. I met with the client and I talked about what I was seeing in the market in general and specifically for her home. We discussed that there's more inventory and supply on the market, which is totally normal this time of year. However, demand hasn't picked up like we normally see this time of year, so that's why homes are sitting a little bit longer and the overall inventory is increasing. In this kind of market, you need to do everything you can to make sure your home gets sold, and that includes pricing right and making sure the home shows well. As an accredited staging professional, I walked through the property. I had her remove the personal pictures and personal items off the kitchen counters and bathroom counters. We even moved a little bit of the furniture around. This seller has the two cutest dogs I've ever seen, so we gave the dogs lots of pets and then removed their bowls and personal pet items so that the home will show better for pictures and showings. I recommended to her to list at $550,000, right where the other model match was under contract. Now, her home was a little bit better, maybe a little bit more upgraded, but not significantly, and it was the same model. Of course, she wanted to list right where the Zestimate was, around $611,000. So we went back and forth, and she finally decided to go ahead and list at $589,500. Still a little bit higher than I wanted, but much lower than she initially thought she would do so. And sure enough, here we are on the market over 2 weeks and not even one showing on the property. I had to have a talk with her today and we discussed, listen, if we're not getting showings at all, it's not about how the home shows. It's likely price. And if we're not getting showings, we're probably going to have to reduce down to that $550,000 that I initially mentioned. Now that you've seen how we priced this home at, would you trust the Zestimate over our recommendations? Put your comments below. Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Leslie Carver, your expert guide in all things real estate, especially if you're eyeing Henderson. I'm here to share tips, insights, and all the latest market updates to help you navigate the real estate market in Las Vegas and Henderson. Don't forget to hit like, smash that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Let's jump back into the Zillow estimate. So what Zillow gets right and what they get very wrong. Let's be honest, the Zestimate can be pretty helpful. It does give you a general idea on what the value might be and possibly what the home might sell for. And I get it. It can be tempting to look at what that value is and say, hey, that's what I might be able to sell my home for. In fact, I look at the Zestimate for my property. We purchased our home through a for sale by owner and we got a really great deal. In fact, we did purchase the home under value. The Zillow estimate does take into consideration many things, including the last sell price. So they do factor that in. And my Zestimate is much lower than I know I could sell my home for. Here's why Zillow struggles. It can't see your upgrades. It doesn't know the flow and layout of the property. It doesn't know if you remodeled 2 years ago or 20 years ago. It doesn't walk through the home and go, whoa, that backsplash needs updating. I do that. It can't account for local buyer demand or recent changes in the market. I often say that I'm in the trenches. I often see new changes and trends before many things are reported statistically. I see when homes are sitting on the market and prices start changing and homes are not getting showings. It often takes about 2 to 3 months before you start seeing a change actually being noted and reported statistically. If I'm not getting homes with showings and things are sitting a little bit longer, prices are reducing, you won't actually see the prices change until it's sold several months later statistically. And in our Las Vegas market, 2 to 3 months is a huge amount of time. Let me give you the perfect example. During the market slowdown in 2007, Money Magazine reached out to me because they wanted to do an article on the Las Vegas real estate market. They actually reached out to me right at the beginning of the slowdown, and they wanted to do an article on how hot the Las Vegas real estate market was. Of course, when I talked to them, I was honest and I told them many of my listings have been sitting for a couple months, and I have several properties that I even haven't gotten showings on for several months. So when they ran the article, they said, according to Leslie Carver, the Las Vegas real estate market has slowed down and sales have dried up faster than a desert oasis. That was actually kind of a little rough one. That was not what I said at all. And it was kind of shocking that that's what they reported. But we all know what actually happened. That was the beginning of the slowdown. And in fact, values started declining and continued doing so for years. My clients that listened to me at the time did reduce their price and listed a little bit lower than some of the previous sales. Those same clients got sold and they actually were able to sell their home before values continued to decline and the market fully crashed. I don't make predictions on future values, but when I'm meeting with my clients, I discuss what I'm seeing in the market and what price they need to be at and what other items they need to do to get the home sold now. That's the big difference between a formula and an experienced realtor. I've been helping sellers price their home right and get sold for almost 30 years. I don't just click a button. I study the market, the comps, and what buyers are willing to pay under the current conditions. Would you rather rely on a robot's guesstimate or someone who's been in most of the homes on the block? Zillow's not helping you get top dollar. It's just giving you an automated guess on what your value might be. And buyers and sellers rely on it way too often. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, please don't let Zillow be your only source. If you ever question your Zestimate or really want to know what your home's worth, I'm only one message away. Give this video a thumbs up if I've opened your eyes to what really goes into determining value for a home. Also, please don't forget to subscribe for more information about what's happening in the real estate market in Las Vegas and Henderson. Looking for more real estate insights about Las Vegas and Henderson? Just click on one of my other videos popping up on your screen. I appreciate you for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.